that. I'm reminded this morning of, and it's really stuck with me along this same line of sacrifice, giving their life for their country. There was a football player by the name of Pat Tilley. He was a safety, a defensive back for the Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals. I guess it was the Arizona Cardinals now, wasn't it? Yeah. So I'm telling my age now, but anyhow, he was playing football under a multi-million-dollar contract, making $1 million a year. And he gave that up when we began to have these skirmishes in Afghanistan and Iraq. He felt like his duty was to serve his country first. And he lost his life in Afghanistan, friendly fire. That means that one of our own soldiers accidentally killed him. But he gave his life rather than make a lot of money and take care of himself. That was an ultimate sacrifice, wasn't it? And that's really what Memorial Day is all about for our nation. And there's a lot of things that we need to remember about this day. I want to start, first of all, though, by reading a passage of Scripture. And I'd like for us to look at 3 different kinds of individuals that we need to remember this morning. Let's start with the 39th verse in the 23rd chapter of Luke's Gospel. And our thought's very simple. It's remember. And one of the malefactors, and the word malefactors here means criminals, which were hanged, railed on him, saying, If thou be the Christ, save thyself and us. Now let me give you the scene here. Christ is on the cross of Calvary. He's been beaten to the point that he's unidentifiable. I am convinced that if you had not known he was Christ, you would not have known him by the beating that he took. He was dying and very near taking his last breath. There was 2 criminals that were crucified with him, one on the right hand and one on the left. There's no doubt they were criminals, because they say so here in just a few moments. One of the criminals says, If you are who you say you are, why don't you get yourself down and get us down with you? But the other answered in the 40th verse and rebuked him, saying, Dost thou not fear God, or don't you fear God, seeing that we're under the same condemnation? We're condemned to die. And we indeed justly, for we receive the due reward of our deeds. But this man has done nothing amiss. So this man's done nothing wrong. And he said unto Jesus, Lord, remember me when thou comest into your kingdom. Or Lord, remember me when you cross over. And Jesus said unto him, Verily, verily, or surely, surely, I say unto thee, today you'll be with me in paradise. Powerful words. Remember this morning. And what I want us to do is to remember, and I want us to look at the 3 individuals that were here upon this cross. Now, first of all, I want you to see that there are people who live their entire lives only for themselves. I'd have to call them selfish, wouldn't you? There are people who finally see the sacrifice that was made for them. I'd say that's a person that's gone through at least a pretty good self-examination. Then there are those that live their lives as a sacrifice for others. They are selfless. And I guess the question I want to ask you this morning is, which are you? Which are you? Now, the first one I want to look at is the selfish one. And I want to say this. It is our nature to be selfish. Did you know that? We're all kind of like the fellow that Jesus gave reference to in Luke, the 12th chapter, the 19th to the 21st verse. Let me read this to you. And I will say unto my soul, Soul, thou hast much goods laid up to many years. This is what this fellow was saying to himself. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said unto him, Thou fool, this night shall thy soul be required of thee. Then whose shall these things be that thou hast provided? So he that hath laid up treasures for himself and not riches toward God. This was an individual that all he thought about was himself. Rather than be someone that would give to those that had need, I'm just going to build bigger barns because it's all about me. You see, my friends, we all know someone that's selfish. But you know what? We all can be selfish if we're not careful. It's real easy to be self-centered in this world today. Free enterprise is a wonderful thing if it's treated properly. The Bible doesn't say that money is the root of all evil. A lot of people think it does. That's not what it says. Because we all need it. And it's foolish to say that we don't like money or that we don't need it, because we all know that we do. But the Bible all does teach this, that the love of money, if that becomes your purpose for living, then I promise you, you will be self-centered. Because you will build your life around what you have, or what seems to be even worse is what you do not have. Oh yeah. We all, if we're not careful, can be very selfish. But we can choose not to be selfish. Did you know that? Yeah. God gives us that good rational mind to see ourselves as we are. As a matter of fact, if you look at Luke's Gospel again in the 9th chapter, in the 23rd verse, Jesus said this. He said unto them, if any man will come after me, Luke 9, turn over there. This is a good verse. You hear me quote it often. I like this. If any man, and I like this, the Lord always gives you the choice. There's no one serving the Lord today that has not chosen to serve Him. There's no one serving the Lord. There's no one saved today that did not choose to seek the Lord until they found Him. Now, just choosing to serve Him or choosing to be saved is not enough. Heard me say that often. But you have to choose to want to be saved and to seek after God. But listen, what I want you to see today is you can choose not to be a selfish person. As a matter of fact, you can choose to be a loving and a caring person. And what's wonderful about this is you don't even have to do it on your own, because you really can't. It's not our nature to be selfless. It is our nature to be selfish, to want what we want. Oh, well, we don't like to hear that. But Brother Carver, why do you want to bring that up? That's so painful. Oh, but it's true. Oh, but I want you to know there's hope for us that are selfish. And I'm glad that there is this morning, because we're going to see a very selfless person. There's no doubt that the first thief was one of these people that was all about him. There he is, his dying breath, lived his life as a criminal, fixing to die and go into eternity, and he's still thinking about himself. No one else. Got to be careful. This world, free enterprise, sometimes it's about me. No, it's not about you. And I want you to see that the satisfaction and the peace and the contentment that God means for every human being to have doesn't happen because you've got